A released WWE star is expected to re-sign with the company. Plus, we have more details on Andrade's WWE release and the real reason why WWE banned fans and media from the WrestleMania Saudi Arabia announcement. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. We had NXT Homecoming on Tuesday, saw a few appearances from NXT alumni. Bobby Roode had a very awkward return where nobody applauded. I think it was a production error.
It was a production error, but yeah, it was quite funny.
Or a rib.
Feels. Well, I mean, it could have been both.
I think it might have been a rib.
There was definitely noise in the arena. They just didn't. It didn't come over the loud the mics at home, the speakers at home.
There was a wild pop for when Shayna Baszler turned up to appeal for calm between Zarya and Sol Ruka. But didn't she get released, Fraser Porter?
It's a weird. She got released, but why is she on our TV? This doesn't make sense.
What are you doing here?
Exactly. What is she doing here? Well, the belief in WWE backstage, according to The Observer and Fightful, is that she's been a regular presence backstage, but there is currently no official deal in place for her. Now, currently, it's a case of both parties seeing how things go and taking it from there. But many in the company hope and expect her to re-sign, which then begs the question, why did you get rid of her in the first place? Unless, now, according to The Observer, at least, the role that they're looking at maybe bringing her back is a producer role. So maybe it's a case of like, hey, we don't see you as a on-screen talent as much, so we're going to cut your contract and then wait a couple weeks and then go, actually come back and we'll give you a producer job.
I think
it's weird, though.
It might be a case of like you have to literally have that contract end so your new contract can begin.
Kind of forcing her hand a little bit, being like, yeah, well, you're done as an on-screen talent, but we will bring you back only as a producer.
It's like, we're releasing you. We have an opportunity for you as a producer if you want it.
Yeah.
And she might have said yes or no. And if she said no, they went, okay, well, we're still releasing you anyway.
She'd be a great asset, though, to anyone in NXT to coach all the young names that they're coming up with, because like Shayna's so good and so underrated in the ring and just in general in her entire WWE career. And I think people forget just how good she was in NXT and how underrated she was on the main roster. So being in NXT there and helping talent will be only a great thing for them.
Proper submission magician shenanigans backstage at NXT and at WWE's main roster as well. A big release from this past week was Andrade. We kind of got into work on Monday and went, oh, is he gone? He was popped to the alumni section of WWE.com, and then it was revealed that, yeah, he had been quietly let go from his contract. The Observer has shed a little bit of light on what the reason behind that release may have been.
Indeed, saying some noted to us frustration that his English never got better. One noted to us that there was a buyer's remorse in the sense that they thought bringing him in from AEW would be a huge deal, and since the talent have come in from AEW like Cody Rhodes and CM Punk were received so well, and figured he'd follow similarly with its fanbase. But the fanbase didn't react to Andrade at anywhere near the same level after the initial first day pop, and it was made worse by not coming in with a focused direction, end quote. It's an interesting one because Andrade felt very much in his AEW career like he didn't really, I don't want to say want to be there, but it didn't feel like he had motivation to be there, and it very much felt like he wanted to be back in WWE. Now, that could have been a number of reasons. Maybe he was unhappy with his booking. Maybe he just wanted to be in the same company and work at the same place his wife does, or his now ex-wife does. So it doesn't surprised me that in his AEW run he did want to go back to WWE. Now in his WWE run, it just felt like he didn't want to be there, or that he wasn't happy with his booking, or he didn't want to work where his ex-wife worked. It just felt like there was always something going on there. Though when it comes to issues with Andrade not learning English, Fightful Select did add a little bit.
Yeah, they said we never personally heard that, but it wasn't a factor in his firing. There's one situation in 2019 SummerSlam weekend in Toronto where Andrade was not advertised for media, but insisted on doing the rounds to work on his English. So that's worth pointing out in this situation where Fightful certainly say that they've not heard that is a factor. There were many other factors that led to Andrade's release. There was the aforementioned wellness violation that had taken place. That could have been a number of things. There was the story of him being escorted from the arena, something that was pertaining to a wellness violation, as we report. Didn't make it easy for them to keep him, so therefore he was released.
Yeah.
In terms of what happens next with him, well, we saw Andrade going back and forth with MJF, ahead of MJF's match at Anniversario 92 against Mystico. Certainly felt like it was setting up something for Andrade to maybe do CMLL.
It wouldn't surprise me if we see Andrade pop up there. If you look at the wrestling playing field, it doesn't make sense for him to do AAA because he could have done that in WWE if he really wanted to be in AAA. Doesn't make sense to do TNA because they're partnered with WWE. Then you've got AEW. Now, they did, when he left AEW, both him and Tony Khan sang the praises of each other and seemed to have partied amicably. You could see him go back there and maybe work in AEW, but what is more of an exciting prospect is being in CMLL and getting to work at AEW when he wants to and becoming one of the top guys in CMLL, which would make total sense for Andrade with the history there as La Sombra, where he lost the mask. It was 10 years ago, like 3 days ago, that he lost his mask as La Sombra. So it would make sense for him to go back and kind of take the top spot, or one of the top spots, and fight for that spot that he was promised when he was a 17-year-old kid growing up in CMLL. So it'd be great to see him back there and make appearances in AEW. I just don't know where he entirely fits outside of that.
Yeah.
Because the wrestling landscape's packed at the moment, but a lot of them have deals with other companies. And I also don't see him in New Japan.
No, I think CMLL might be where he ends up landing in some way, shape, or form. And it was a big night for CMLL last night. The Anniversario, the 92nd anniversary of CMLL took place, main evented by Mystico and MJF in a mask versus championship match. And oh my days, what a banger!
Yeah, very, very good.
What a bloody banger!
Yeah, as you can see, I've had to grayscale the image right there because there's a lot of blood pouring out of the mask of Mystico, and the mask actually got ripped and torn to pieces almost. Like it was a brutal match. MJF is doing some incredible heel work throughout this run in CMLL. Mystico is a bona fide start. When you look at his run as Sin Cara, they
feel like different people.
It does feel like different people, and you've got
in some cases they were. Hey,
yeah. I hate saying this phrase, but when you watch him come out, it's just aura. Like it is just aura, and that whole match between the two, the storyline between the two has been so good. And as I said, MJF has been doing some fantastic work, but Mystico, they love him. Mexico City love Mystico, and it's no surprise. But that match, banger, and we've got a new champion.
A new champion, yes, indeed. Mystico tapping out MJF to La Mystica to once again become the CMLL light heavyweight champion. He keeps his mask in the process. Wild reaction for this. MJF declared after the match on Twitter that he'd be taking out his frustrations on Mark Briscoe at All Out tonight. And this is where like they've had some right logistical adventures, some of the AEW guys, because there was quite a few of them that worked CMLL last night. They're in Canada tonight for All Out, and literally a couple of hours after this banger, probably about 2 hours after this, MJF was on a flight.
Yeah, so him and a bunch of I think it was a few luchadors from CMLL who are booked at AEW all got to get up to Canada. Now, that they don't have to cross a time zone, I don't think, from where they are in Mexico City, but it's still a long flight, and I think they land 8 a.m. local time, and the show kicks off at like 3 p.m. local time in Canada. So they've got a few hours, but that's after how brutal that match was, and MJF is off to have another brutal match with Mark Briscoe tonight.
It's going to be a fun old evening, all out. I said 13 matches announced for that, and amongst that, I think MJF and Mark Briscoe are going to tear the house down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big opportunity for those guys this evening as well. But great show, the Anniversario 92. My good friend Vader Scott was called to do commentary for it, and Vader Scott described it on many occasions just one of the best atmospheres that Vader Scott has ever been in.
Yeah.
And look at some of the pictures that Vader put out there. Yeah, that's just an awesome
It is
thing.
now on the bucket list to go and see a show in Mexico City and Arena, Mexico. That looks incredible.
Yeah, really, really did. However, in terms of like a flight from Mexico to Toronto, not too long for us. If you want to go to WrestleMania in 43, it's about 5 hours that way.
Yeah, it's a bit of a journey actually out to Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania 43. Obviously, they had the press conference just the other week about WrestleMania 43, announcing it's going to be in Saudi Arabia, and it was very awkward because you see Triple H scanning the room and like looking at things, but there's no one there. There's literally no one in the room. There's
No
no
one
press.
in the room.
There's no fans in the room.
There was a bunch of wrestlers looking quite sad.
There was a lot of depressed-looking wrestlers, but obviously they've announced it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. And from the Observer this week, we've had a little bit of information as to why there was no one in the room with them when it happened. TKO made that decision because they didn't want fans attending because they thought fans might boo the announcement.
No.
I know. It's not like fans to boo things. And then, well, actually, to be fair with the current WWE fans, they might just cheer it because they're going, money. The real press in town for the boxing match when this announcement was being made, though, was also not there because there was a possibility that some of them would come along and ask real questions.
That's quite a sniffy way of putting it, but it's true.
Yeah, you're not going to have someone being like, is Taylor Swift going to have a match? What's your Waffle House order?
Yeah.
You're not going to have those questions at this.
Your Excellency, what is your order from Waffle House?
You're not going to have those questions if you've got, I hate saying it, but quote-unquote, real press. That's their words in the Observer. So, yeah, it's strange there was no fans or media, but also completely on brand and on track.
Yeah, I think if you didn't know the reason why that was played out to an empty room, I think it's obvious, and now we definitely know. I mean, the one time that they accidentally left the mics on when they played the video of the announcement during Worlds Collide, it was just the sound of boos and you sold out. I can't imagine His Excellency would have been too good, too happy.
No, you wouldn't have been pleased.
No, with that situation, and you want to keep on the right side of Triple H. He's a very good friend, His Excellency Turkey I'll Shake. Now tonight it is all about All Out and WrestlePalooza. It's a WWE counter-programming, smashing super adventure, and us at Cultaholic will be with you for the entire Rainbow Road of a journey. It will be live reactions on Twitch to start with Sam and Andrew. They will continue onto YouTube at the end of All Out, youtube.com/cultaholic/live. So it's a bumper live reactions from about, what, 6 o'clock
from
UK time?
Yeah, 6 p.m. UK time onwards until probably about...
Wednesday.
Yeah, 4 a.m. I think is when we're hoping the show finishes. It's going to be a long night, but it's going to be a good one. So join them on Twitch. And then as soon as All Out ends, you can join them on YouTube for WrestlePalooza. That's why on the graphic, there's not actually a time for the WrestlePalooza one because we don't know when All Out finishes. So
we're just going to figure it out as we go. It's me and thee for what happened at for both shows, and you'll have Ross next week for the WTF moments as well. And we'll all be here. You'll be running the socials.
Yeah, on the social media. So follow us along at Cultaholic and give us some likes.
Throughout the night, tweet Cultaholic at random points. Thank you, Fraser.
Yeah, please.
Because that'll be Fraser that's doing it.
Keep me awake.
That'll keep him awake, keep us a little alive. And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.